So Eminem comes in this bright yellow fucking sweatsuit, hoodie, pants, everything. It's bright fucking yellow, you know? And I'm like, wow.
I'm looking at Dre like, dude, I see you on TV all the time. You're one of my biggest influences ever in life.
I'm like, man, listen, I think this shit is fucking incredible and I would love to work with you. And I had a studio in my house at the time, and I went and put some samples together, did a couple of things in the drum machine, and I invited him over.
Dre, you do a lot of recording here?
Yeah, most of the recording is down here. Nothing more comfortable than home.
I was like, man, listen, I put this sample together. Tell me if you like it.
You wanna hear one of my joints, man? Yeah.
And I hit the drum machine, and maybe 2 or 3 seconds went by, and he just went, hi, my name is, like, yo, stop. Shit's hot. That's what happened our first day and the first few minutes of us being in the studio.
I got a call and closely followed by a CD with sent to me. I was in New York at the time with this, you know, they said, oh, Eminem sampled the song, and I'm thinking, I wonder what's happening, you know, I mean, because I was actually a huge Eminem fan, but I was sort of like, I wonder what he's done, you know. and we put it on. I was with a couple of friends of mine who were visiting, and we put it on in the hotel room, and I was listening to the lyrics. I was just like, this is amazing. I mean, I just think his lyrics on that song are absolutely brilliant. You know, he's, to me, the ultimate storyteller, you know, and I was just like, this is great. And then I, you know, didn't think too much more about it, and we just sort of got on with the tour, and then just suddenly everything.
A lot of times I can say to certain people, yo, just do that verse over, or you're a little offbeat, you know, or, you know, your second verse is kind of weak, and they don't think anything of it because we had that rapport. So when my first day or my second day of working with M on Recovery, we're doing this one song, and I just kind of said to him, like, yo, your second verse, you kind of went off course a little bit, subject matter-wise, and your third verse, your flow's a little off. I just left it at that. I didn't think anything of it. And he was facing away from me. He was, you know, I'm talking to him from behind. He just turns around and he's like, I don't hear that, dog. And I'm like, oh, I fucked the money up. Damn. I knew it was over. After that, I knew it was over. And then I tried to, like, you know, salvage it, and I'm like, well, no, what I mean is, you know, in your second verse, you're not really talking about X, Y, and Z, and in your third verse, if you notice, the flow kind of diverts in a weird way. I was trying to clean it up, but it was a wrap. So about 3 hours later, I'm sitting in his lounge, waiting to probably be sent home, and his right hand, one of his right hand people comes and hands me a phone. They're like, here. I'm like, who's it? They're like, it's Marshall. So I'm like, hey, what up? He's like, yo, you're a fucking alien. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, how did you hear that shit? And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And, you know, he's basically like, he's like, after you said what you said, I went home and listened to the song 30 times to try to understand what you were saying. And I eventually heard it, and I realized where, you know, that I agree with you. So he's like, yo, thank you for that, because nobody has ever really coached me. From the second Dre found me, I was vocal producing everybody. So nobody's really ever gave me negative feedback. So I appreciate it.
The same, you know, respect.
I just seen recently you was in the studio with Eminem.
Ooh, that's how I know I can rap.
Wow.
That's how I know I can rap. He didn't want to talk about nothing but rapping.
Wow.
and that was a great phone call to get.
He called you.
But Porter called me and
Okay.
had him, had him on deck.
Porter.
Yeah, Porter. But me and Porter been going back and forth, and you know, you kind of think it's, bro want to do something with you. It's like, I've heard it all. You know what I'm saying? I heard it all. You know, this like rap talk. It's like you see a rap in the club, let's do one.
Right.
It's cap. You know what I mean? And so he was like, the boy want to do something with you. I like, whatever. And so I happened to lose my phone during the BET experience, and he had to call Tech. And he called Tech, and Tech was like, them boys in Malibu at Rick Rubin's house.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And Tech said, I'm not sure. I think I need some clarity. So I'm like, is this for D12? Is this for Eminem?
Right.
Like, it's not clear. No one's keeping it. They just saying we want. It's not clear to me. and they put me on three-way, and so Tech was like, I think they want you to redo a hook that M said, and maybe some ad-libs. So I said, I don't redo hooks because I write my own hooks and I'm on my pub. And I said, secondly, if y'all want my ad-libs, I could just send them. I do the same ones every time.
Well, 13 new songs. You know what I wanted to ask you? I read this. Did you write Eminem's rap for this revenge?
I wish.
Okay,
then
so
I do need a rap Grammy. No.
So what did you do? How did the song come together?
Very obviously wrote my part.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We wrote this song. I was drinking a lot of wine.
That a girl?
And I went home and emailed him and said, "You need to. If you're smart, you need to get on this song with me." And he did it.
Okay.
You know?
Let me be humble. Let me just go meet Eminem. You know what I mean? Let me just go meet him and we go from there. You know what I mean? And so when we first went in, he kind of talked about, I got this, he let me hear the song. And it was funny. Like, I heard some things in there where he had, his vernacular was 2 Chainsy. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. And only reason I don't know how I sound until I hear it from somebody else. Like, I don't know in case, and then like, oh, really? So I heard it and I was like, he did one song, like the hook was over and it was like a little space and he was like, yeah, and it was like he started rapping. And he was like, yeah, I'm like, damn, like Eminem don't even do ad libs. Right. I said, Eminem don't do Eminems, but yeah, Eminem don't even do ad libs. I'm like, this is crazy. So, he's like, so when I heard the hook, I'm like, man, it's gonna be hard to change it up because it was, it was specifically for this. You know what I mean? So I'm telling him like, man. That's cool, but I gotta do something. And he tells me like, you could do a verse or something like that, for like a remix. And I tell him straight up, because I'm here now, like with everything, like I'm so like,
okay,
Eminem, what would you need a remix for?
Right.
Remixes are used to carry records to #1 spots. When have you ever did a remix for someone or for yourself? That's cap at its. That's cap at its finest.
Like no favors, man.
Yeah, no favors.
One of your finest moments.
Yeah.
And when your man comes in for Detroit, oh my days.
Yeah.
I haven't heard him sound that good for years.
Yeah.
For years.
I mean, he's good, man.
Not taking nothing.
Yeah, he's good.
Like,
he's great.
And you definitely hang out there. You hang with him on that one, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
It feels like you brought him back right. Like, amazing.
Wow, I don't think that, but I think he's been back. I don't think he ever left, but I felt,
he's back where someone like me really wants him to be, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
No, when I heard the verse, you could just imagine my feelings, like, but it gave me the feeling of it reminded me of the first time I heard him, just from an excitement standpoint. Like, I was just so excited hearing it, and I feel like Eminem throughout his whole career has just tried and been very successful, obviously, at everything. He's the biggest rapper of all time, if you just look at the numbers. And so you can imagine what that's like coming up in Detroit and looking up.
The whole thing was like, I was trying to do mine as fast as possible because I like doing that for people. I like coming up with clever stuff really quick. So people, and I couldn't. I had to talk to her doctor for like an hour and a half. So I came out, I told him, forgive me, it's taking so long. He was like, no, go ahead. And I don't know how to count bars still. Some people know that, some people don't. So I tell my engineer, I say, Eminem rapping for like a day. So I tell him, look, the second verse, just mute that verse. However long it is, I'm doing that verse. You know what I mean? So I'm out the room, I go to going crazy. And I'm looking out the window and I'm like.
Were you feeling competitive?
I'm feeling like I'm finna knock home off.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to feel that way.
Absolutely.
I know this, but I'm feeling like I'm finna give it to him. You know what I mean? Like this is hot. I just did a song with Royce the 5'9".
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I gave him some of the ATL flavor. You know what I'm saying? I gave him some. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, so M telling me like he listens to Kendrick and he listens to me, telling me like he telling me like the Kendrick, what he likes about Kendrick, and he's telling me like basically like a lot of my metaphors give him anxiety. Like he be like. He never know what I'm gonna say. Like, man, I don't never know, man. You give me fucking anxiety with this. I'm like, man, it's really an honor. But you saying this, you know what I'm saying? Because we know where you are as far as the food chain.
Right.
Because he was the first artist that I worked with that actually treated the business like a real job. Like, he comes in at 9 a.m. every day to the studio, takes his lunch break at 1, and is out of there by 5 p.m. Like, it's like a schedule. And I didn't expect that from him. Because when the first day I came around 6. I'm expecting, okay, we're going to do an evening session. I get this studio. Oh, M just left. I was like, yo, M, where you at? He said, I'm out of here. I said, well, I'm at the studio. I just got here. You coming back? He said, I'll be back there at 9 a.m. So
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
I clocked out. I'm done.
Yeah, like literally, I'm clocked out. Like I felt like you joking, right? He said, no, I'm serious. I see you at 9. You gonna get up early? I said, yeah, I gotta be there. So I get there at 9, and he shows up on time. Plays some beats. We robbing. We rocking. So I'm in the middle of writing the record. He's like, yo, I'm about to go out for lunch. I said, all right, cool. I'm gonna meet you after. He said, you're not gonna take no lunch? I said, no, I'm not hungry. I'm just going to work. He said, all right, cool. He goes, takes lunch. Hour come back. He's back. What we got? I play him the record, play him the chorus. He said, oh, this is it. Boom. He goes into his verse. 5 o'clock come. He's halfway in. He's like, all right, bro, I'm going to see you tomorrow. So at this point, I'm like, yo, but your verse almost done. You ain't going to finish it? No, I'll finish it tomorrow.
Like, so, I'm not getting paid overtime. I'm out.
Right, it's a work day.
So at this point, I'm like, yo, this is crazy, right? right. So tomorrow comes, he finishes it out.
Wow.
So, and I asked him, I was like, yo, like, you know, like, what's up with the work ethic? He said, nah, man, it's just, I just like to be here. I treat it like a real job. I don't make it no more than what it's supposed to be. I don't allow it to stress me out. Stay longer than I have to. I got a family. I got a daughter. I want to spend time with her. Like, I want to make time. And I stopped and I said, damn, you know what? He's right.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll be in the studio 3-4 days, don't come out. Don't see my kids, don't call my wife, none of that. I'm just like working. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here like, man, that makes a lot of sense because ain't nothing going to change between today and tomorrow.
And what was that experience like, sort of having him in the booth, and what's he like to work with just purely on a recording level?
He's very hyper-critical of detail and hears the music in a very deep way and hears internal rhythms in track and writes words to work on so many different levels rhythmically within what's going on musically, to where if we change a little thing in the track to better the track, it might not work in his mind how it relates to what he's saying and how he's phrasing. He's phrasing so glued to the music and written that way, like just sees it as not just riding the flow. It's much more complex
stuff. What was he like in person?
Dope. What you think? Yeah, just what you think. Like funny and fucking cool. And I was mad nervous, man. I was mad nervous.
Like starstruck from it?
Yeah, hell yeah, because it's a legend. It's like...
It's an icon, like...
hip-hop royalty, man.
Something else. He's too famous. It's like out of here.
It's crazy, but...
You know what? We have that in common because M is my executive producer, too.
Oh, he is?
Did you know that? He didn't tell you this?
guess.
M never mentioned that to you?
No.
Oh, okay.
He forgot.
Whatever, M. Working with M because I've known him from the beginnings of his career, you know, and he was always a funny dude. Like
he is so funny.
Isn't he a funny guy?
Yeah.
You know, but when you see him, he looks so intense. Like, you know, we got that eye thing going, right? Doesn't he?
He's intense.
Yeah.
He's intimidating, but he's really funny.
He's really funny. Now, you have a sense of humor as well.
On a record, behind the scenes with the records?
I mean, it's fun, you know. It's funny most of the time. There's a lot of laughing goes down, you know. Like a lot of funny shit happens in the studio. I mean, for the most part, though, you know, for me, it's just kind of like soaking up the genius, you know, and like trying to just humble myself and be there and listen, you know, and that's pretty much what I do, you know. I mean, if I'm in there writing, or the times that I have been in there writing when he's been around, it's just there's a real mutual respect, you know. We kick it, and I think at the end of the day, all of us, we just want to make classics, you know, and we want to make records that the world can't relate.
Make sure to subscribe to get more top studio moments weekly. And leave a comment below telling us your top studio moment.